it's essentially confirmed with Project K that LOR is done. Like, the writing is on the wall. If you completely disagree, that's fine. But let's just come to the terms that if the physical card game is not going to be the exact same as the online card game, they're not going to keep the online card game since they've stated themselves that it's not performing to their standards. So the game is done, right? And we can debate this. I made a previous video, the one right before this, and I made those accusations, and we can I'll make another video going over those comments from that video and maybe even this video. But I really wanted to go into the death of LOR first and then go into Project K. So here's my theory of why LOR is done and why they've just completely moved on. Because I feel like they moved on a year ago to make this card game, or maybe even further than that. I don't remember exactly when the two people got pulled off completely, but I think that was the start point to this project. So First off, I don't think there's a strong enough player base or even for the equipment for them to even have the game running, right? Everyone that I talk to just say they play Path of Champions and not the actual competitive game itself. And Riot, to me, they don't really have a good history of just making for fun games. They have a really big history of just going in on the competitive games, setting up tournaments, really trying to bolster that community, and they're sort of trying to be the source of the next ESPN content, almost. And that kind of goes into the second point of the lack of the competitive scene. I try to follow the previous World Championships of LOR, and it's the most boring thing ever. And they try to make it interesting for players to try to get into the bracket in a way, but that doesn't... Putting in an interesting... interesting format is completely different. They are not focused on the competitive scene at all. They've constantly stated that. They double down on it multiple times. Path of Champions is the way to go. And to me, the competitive scene is horrible. Ranked, just generally playing the card game is just not fun and competitively, right? Yeah, I'm sure Path of Champions is fun, right? But to some people, that's what people have been saying. But the competitive base game is not fun at all, and they're not changing anything. They're not actively reworking, going in. They're just saying, like, this is okay, because if we change one card, then Path of Champions is really messed up. And with that mindset, nothing's going to improve. And then this third one is kind of out in the left field, but lack of social media following. And I say this because in today's era, even with the election that just happened in the USA, it was really noticeable how social media played in bringing the candidates out or bringing games to life. And so LOR was forced into the light several times, and by other people, didn't keep up with it, didn't enjoy it, didn't like it, and it just fell off. Like, no one popular ever streams it. And with everyone going to League of Legends again, it's not a good look that their virtual card game is just not getting picked up. Like, people are playing TFT, people are playing Valorant, people are playing League of Legends, right? And then you have this, like, stepchild that they forgot about, LOR, that just isn't doing, like, pulling its weight. So that's my theory. Like, that's just my perspective on it. Let's talk about the reality of the situation. The game itself is not challenging Magic or Hearthstone. That is 100% facts. I don't think you can debate that. I think that's just how it is, right? Because there's no way anyone is coming off of Magic to play LOR because it's a better game. I haven't seen it in a large quantity. Same thing with Hearthstone. And Hearthstone's not even that big of a game anymore. However, I will say this. I've played Battlegrounds. And I played Battlegrounds, and that is way more fun than Path of Champions. And I look at Magic, and what makes Magic really fun is the physical card game aspect of it. And there's so many different formats. So it's like, oh, I'll get into Magic because that's all fun. And then the virtual card game is just kind of like a side thing that isn't that fun, but they're trying to make it a big thing. Path of Champions is not enough. That's just I think that's just the reality, right? With everything they've come out and said, this is just a factual statement now. They are focused on Path of Champions, but that's not good enough. It's a side game mode of the actual game, and it's not carrying it. And they are, bringing out Project K to bring light to this. And League has lost faith in this project, right? I don't think they would start Project K if they think that LOR had hope, right? Because why would you make a physical card game that's different than your virtual card game, right? If Project K was the exact same as LOR and they were just making the physical cards, I would have complete faith. But the fact that it's different just shows to me that they don't want to deal with it anymore. And with the team cut from that project, I just don't see them coming back from it. So I wrote this general section for next steps. With Arcane being so successful, Riot needs to switch gears, right? That project, I looked it up from my previous video. Someone mentioned how expensive it was. It was $250 million, and someone said that they might have lost money on it. I don't know. That's just what someone said. And with that, I just can't believe how much money Riot is throwing, so they need these projects to have a bigger success because Arcane is clearly bringing out more eyes to their products. So with the failure, or with them discontinuing their basically indie game company, I don't think they'll be focusing too much on creating new games, right? Like Project K is coming out, they have their fighting game. But when you look at that, I think they're done. I think they're going to really try to make those the best they can be and just spend their money more intelligently on bolstering all their current games, trying to get as much sales as they can to get a solid foundation. Then I believe they're already started with their whole new spotlight, bring League back, trying to be competitive with Valorant. But honestly, with some of their changes, I think League, content-wise, is already better than Valorant. But Valorant is just a first-person shooter, and a lot of people like that. And this is the big next step for just Project K, post the death of LOR, right? Project K needs to steal shelf space. That's the only thing that Riot doesn't have, because they have the social media, they have the client, the game space, the media talking, right? Media in terms of games, right? But they don't have stores. Like, they don't have action figures, they don't have anything in that. So I think Project K is their first stab at, card games. And they're going into a pretty niche market, being, card/game stores, right? So they're just trying to get more eyes on Riot in a different location, a different medium, and with this, they're probably going to have more freedom and give the fans more power to actually make more games or have the game be more fun, so that they can create a more authentic fan base. So that's what I think the new strategy is, and that's why I think it's the death of LOR, is that this is their chance to go into the physical space where Arcane was their chance at going into creative entertainment media. So, they got the games covered. LOR is clearly not a part of it, but we will see soon. Let me know what you think of it, or do you disagree? I know that some people really enjoy the game, but here's the thing. It's not performing on a big scale, and that's what really matters. But let me know what you think. Peace.